Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I just put the boat in on a local lake that has a big drawdown going on right now. A lot of times we can't get out until because there's ice on the water, and in this case the drawdown has begun. It's probably about 8 feet low is my guess. So you can see there's a lot of dry bank, so I'm taking advantage of it. I'm gonna drive around a little bit, see if I can learn a few more spots, maybe get a better feel for some of the spots I've caught fish. Figured I'd bring you along, show you some of the stuff that I'm looking for. It's just a nice November day, and maybe we'll do a little fishing. I don't know if we'll fit that in or not. We don't have that much time, but let's go see what we can find. This is a perfect example of like what I'm talking about. And generally this is almost all underwater. You know that the top of that point has rock on it when the water is a little bit lower. But you really get a good feel for how much rock there is. I mean, it's a big solid rock flat, but the cool thing is there's actually some like sand patches with nice bigger boulders in the middle of it, you know. And then a lot of what actually interests me more than necessarily this stuff, which is one big rock point, a lot of times is more this stuff down here where that rock tapers off and you start to get a little bit more definition to the rock, meaning like here, that I would say this is where that rock point really ends, is right in this area. But then you, holy cow, almost fell out. Little boat, a lot of power. So this is about where the rock point actually ends, and then you start to get some other stuff going on. Like this is a little bit of a rock vein right here, and then as we go down, the rock tapers off, but there's some really nice bigger rocks down here. So, you know, as I come down, you start to get more sand, some rock patches, some nicer, bigger, isolated boulders down here that extend out a ways. You know, this is all good stuff. This is the type of stuff I'd like to drag. You can fish a crankbait over, maybe a lipless, but it's still very much fishable stuff. Most people will only hit the point, but I can tell you, I've caught a lot of fish down in this stretch too. So to be able to see it, get a good feel for it, is really a good understanding. And one of the keys to the little spot, as you get down here, there's one nice little rock cluster that's just down on the point. So it's just good to be able to get a feel for it, understand how the area lays out. I really feel like it's this type of scouting that really is invaluable to an angler. You know, you have what looks like it's just starting to peter out, and then there's this nice little rock boulder cluster with a rock point right in this area that comes out a little bit. Caught some fish right there, and that's why it looks beautiful. So here's some cool stuff too. There's a bunch of little isolated rocks. This is a giant sand flat, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 little rocks right up in this area right here. Real isolated stuff. That's what I like to call that stuff one hitters. You know, you pull up, you make a handful of casts, move on to the next stuff. Like we're gonna move on now. So here's another classic spot. There is one little rock pile right on the edge of the water right there. This is a spawning cove. I'm not going to be able to get there because I'm only in about 8 inches of water as it is, but there's actually a couple of culverts back here, and those can be really good because there's a defined little ditch that comes out of each of those. And in the springtime, those little ditches are key little travel routes. They can be good year-round, but the springtime specifically, you know. And then I'm looking over here, there's a nice rock point coming off right here, but it's a lot of times it's these little tiny rock piles like right there that can be really good, you know, whether it's a rock pile or a stump or sunken boat. It's just cool to be looking around right now. You get to see all this stuff that I never knew was here. So this is the stuff I really like to see. Really nice rock point. There's actually a rock right in the water, right, you can see it right there, but there's another big rock right here. We're just floating around it. So these rocks come out, but you don't recognize it. Like, it's all sand up on the shore. And then when the water drops probably 3 feet, you start getting some of these bigger rocks that are out here. Some of the stuff that's out here. This is the stuff that would be really good to fish. but it's not an easy thing to see because right here, this just looks like a sand bank like the majority of the lake, but you know, these little rock clusters all through here. A lot of fish get caught right here too. Here's a really good spring spot that I've never seen before, just pulled in here for the first time, but you can see coming in here, super shallow flats, just on both sides, really shallow. And I just came all the way back. There's a beautiful little natural rock bank in the back of this ditch, and there's a personal boat ramp right there. Like this, have a little bit of depth back in this part of the lake is wild, and then to have that rock right up there, just that little stretch, that is like springtime spawning location. And honestly, I don't even know that I would have been able to get back here if I wasn't in the jet boat right now. Like, I mean, I came over probably a foot of water, just flew in here and just saw, I could see from the back, it looked like there was a drain almost. So that's a pretty cool find right there. So we're in another part of the lake that I really haven't spent much time, and find this beautiful rock point with all these big boulders sitting way off the bank. You can just see how flat it is. And there's nice rock up on the bank, but you get these big boulders that are sitting out. And that's the stuff that can hold some good fish. Just again, it's these little things. I'm actually just happy I know that's there, because you almost feel like you could run over that anytime you're just out you know, cruising around. But we know it's there now, so no ripping around 200 yards off that point. So here's something that's pretty cool. There's like these tubes with all these pipes coming down. Not really sure what's going on there. It maybe goes across the river, I'm not really sure, but I know for a fact I have caught fish off that. I think I've lost baits on that too. But that's the neat thing. Even going down these big long stretches of rock, this is just a channel swing bank. There's little things like that little indent there. There's areas where you get a little bigger rock chunks, little point. There's a log down there. It's even on these big long stretches of rock like that, you can still find little nuances that the fish will relate to. And right there, that's something that's pretty cool. So here's another cool thing. You always want to know why stumps are good. Look at that bad boy. That thing is just a immense stump right there. You can see how all those fish can get up underneath that. I assume that floated there and is sitting there, but you talk about a stump that I could flip for a while. It's probably it's probably close to 20 feet wide, but you can get so much stuff up underneath there. I love stumps. That's why stumps are good. Here's another one of my favorites, and that's boat ramps. We've got two of them, right? Well, actually three. I want to show you the third, but you can see, you know, they just like the flatness of them a lot of times, and a lot of times you have little washouts, and then they just break up the irregularity of the rock, and they create something to hold on. That one's got a real nice washed out end on it. But check out this one down here. Let me zip down the bank a little bit. This one down here is really cool because it's almost like they laid it between the rock, so you're gonna have a perfect rock edge as well. And it's like the ramp is almost the deep part. Like, check out this one. I mean, you got a really nice drop down into the ramp. Like, that would be a tough one to have as an owner, but the ramp comes way down, still usable even at this water level. Pretty cool. I mean, I bet you that's a really good ramp, and knowing that it comes out so far is very helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed the ride around today. I know I did. I got to go get the kids from school. I only had a little bit of time. We only got to see a small part of the lake, to be honest with you. It's a big lake, slow boat, and but it's nice to be able to rip around and not have to worry about anything. I need like 2 inches of water. That part's fun. And yeah, we found some good looking stuff, some things I didn't show you on camera because it looks pretty juicy. Want to keep it to myself. And yeah, if you happen to be on a body of water that has a drawdown, take advantage of it. At the very least, you can bring the kids out and walk the bank and have a good time. I actually found a crankbait today while I was driving around. So anyways, I appreciate all of you watching, and stay tuned. We'll have a new video tomorrow for you.